Okay, okay, okay. How is this volume, bitch? Hello, hello. So, having a job starts off real exciting. Maybe it's your first job and you bring your friends on board and you're all just having a great time. You start thinking, wow, this is great. I make money in the time that I'd otherwise be wasting. It's quite liberating at first. You're finally able to buy shit that you like, pay for food, and overall live your own life. It's a massive leap towards independence and feels great. That is, until the crushing reality of wage labor starts to kick in. Maybe that shit starts off as this slight dread looming over you after the first 2 weeks of labor. Maybe it hits you like a bus when you realize that you can't hang out with friends which you haven't seen in 2 weeks since you're scheduled for that day. Regardless of how the realization comes to you, you'll eventually find yourself having a slight disdain towards your workplace. You can have the greatest coworkers in the most lax environments. You can have the most ideal workplace, but the restrictions set by corporate will still eat away at you. The little mundane tasks to maintain constant productivity may not bother you at first, but eventually you're going to grow increasingly frustrated with not being able to just vibe in the workplace after you've finished any work that may be required. No, you have to be constantly cleaning something, or watching something, or talking to someone, or putting in an order. These little tasks build up on each other, draining you with each completion, until it starts to cut into the actual important labor, like greeting guests or cooking food. They cause a decrease in quality, because you have less energy to spend on them. This causes management to become frustrated with you, which places more stress on you, which makes you a little bit more reluctant to engage in the redundant tasks. As you can see, this starts to spiral, eating away at you every day until finally you find yourself breaking. The cracks start off as passing thoughts. Maybe you're on your way to work and think about how easily you could just swerve into another car, cutting your miserable day short. Maybe when you're finally at your workplace, you spend 5 minutes in your car thinking to yourself and reconsidering your life choices. Maybe you start having an anxiety attack and run to the bathroom in the middle of your shift to fucking stop yourself from crying and screaming that you can't take the next brain-dead customer's slow, stupid responses. Regardless of how you break, it'll come to you, and you'll find yourself wanting free time more and more and find yourself liking work less and less. The worst part is when you finally have free time, you use it to de-stress and relax a little. You've been drained and are miserable and can't spend time on doing anything productive that means something to you, so you despise yourself and blame yourself for not doing anything good with your time. All you do is work to have money, to enjoy life, but ultimately you'll find yourself enjoying that time less and less because you're just de-stressing from yesterday's labor. By the time you're finally de-stressed enough to do anything creative with your time, you find yourself scheduled again, doomed to repeat the same process you were faced with before, each time entering this process with more dread than before. It sucks, it's life, and there's nothing the individual can do about it. And it's this spiral for the rest of your fucking life. Except eventually, it won't just be a side hustle when you're young and living with your parents. No. Eventually this will be how you feed yourself, and if you don't engage in this cycle, you'll find yourself starving, without a roof, and dying on the streets. Maybe you'll get lucky and get killed by a cop having a bad day. But regardless, the other option that you're faced with is infinitely worse than engaging in the machine. So you're forced to go with taking the option of wage slavery and spend your days stressed and overworked, looking forward to this sick fantasy that is retiring when you're decrepit and old, body all decayed from years of stress. You'll find yourself bored and unfulfilled, and like it's too late to flesh out those things that you had all those years back. Hobbies? Passions? Interests? Well, you haven't really focused on those for the last 50 years. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe wasting away your whole life in a system that doesn't care for you and constantly degrades you is good. Maybe being established as a number on a company's profit margin is good for the psyche, it's good for the individual. Yeah, I'm sure it's worth it when you buy that nice dress or something else with your hard-earned money. Hell, maybe you're right and you're the next Elon Musk waiting for his big break after putting in years of hard work and pulling your bootstraps high enough.